Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Comic Book Burrito Extra Beef. My name's Darien,
My name's Landon.
and we are back with another MCU movie. Last MCU movie we did was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and oh boy, but this isn't about that. We're not going to touch that. What we are going to talk about is a movie that personally I was extremely anticipating, and I'm sure you were too. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Oh my god. This was a movie that I was just like beyond excited for.
Oh yeah.
Emotionally.
Yeah, I mean you saw the promos. I mean, you could tell this was gonna be a very big emotional film, and
you said real quick, not to interrupt, you said that you were before the movie came out, you said that you were a little nervous. And I was assuming it was partly to do with some stuff that Marvel's been putting out.
Yes.
It's a little like we had Black Panther and that was good, but then Ant-Man and Thor and
just the recent Disney Plus shows weren't hitting it just right for it. And we say all the time, trust in James Gunn, and he can't really he can't do wrong. And I was just nervous because everybody's talking about it being emotional. I'm nervous. Just this movie's just not going to hit for me. The emotional stuff ain't going to hit, but it does. It does.
Many times.
Many times, yes.
So I guess we'll go ahead and get into it. I get kind of already touched on just a little bit just now, our anticipations going into it. I'm happy to say personally that what I thought was going to happen didn't happen.
Oh yeah. It's
spoilers, by the way.
Yes. Major spoilers.
Yes.
It's interesting because the stuff you think would happen, like I could not predict. I don't know if I'm dumb, but like everything I thought was going to happen doesn't happen.
Yeah,
and it's just I didn't think would it happen happens.
Yeah, and one thing that I thought would happen didn't happen, but they tricked me into thinking it would happen, and it made me break down in tears.
Yeah, I was
horrible. Which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever that's very big disclosure here. A lot of animal cruelty in this movie.
Oh yeah. Makes you hate the villain.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. I've never hated a villain so much in my life.
He did so good though.
He did good, and I saw people on Twitter. This was before we saw the movie. This was like the day. Yeah, this was like that Friday of like. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was like this guy is better than Kang in Ant-Man. I'm like, really? And I hear that, and I'm like, there's no way. When you hear this, I'm like, there's no way that that's impossible. But that, what's his name? What's the actor's name?
I feel like I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. Chukwudi Iwuji. So his name's Chukwudi Iwuji. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a little difficult.
Better what I can do, but he kills it. He played. He's not a stranger to a James Gunn superhero project. Yes. I mean, he played Myrn and Peacemaker, and I did see that James Gunn said that he would love to work with him in the future again. And I'm thinking, I mean, hey, Martian Manhunter could take the form of Myrn, and it could be kind of be a joke because, like, I mean, the butterflies took his form too. Yeah, so it's just a story of Myrn. That's great. I mean, I think that's exactly what it. I mean, it sounds perfect.
Yeah, but I guess we go ahead. We'll touch more on the villain later. We go ahead and talk about. We'll dive into some characters, and their story. Rocket, I think, is the first one we should start with. This movie is Rocket's movie.
Yeah, definitely.
It's even though he's in it. I don't know if I say the least. He wasn't in it that much. I mean, it's hard to say. He was in that little coma, whatever it was, for
most of the movie, right?
Yeah. Who Rocket?
Yeah. Because he was like, they had him, well, not coma, but whatever it was, they had him on the table as the thing on his heart.
Yeah. Well, it's not, it's weird because he's like the main character, but you don't see him that much.
Yeah. You see him a lot in flashbacks more than you do present day. And the flashbacks. Oh my God. I mean, what? You knew it was tragic. His backstory was tragic, but my God.
Good God.
His first word is the most heartbreaking thing ever. He says one word. He says hurts. And it was the most heartbreaking.
Dude, oh God. And dude, that, I don't know what it was, but that hit home for me. Because it's just like, because especially when you got like little brothers or like you hang around younger people.
Yeah.
Like your whole life. And they start speaking, and it's like the most pitiful thing in the world.
Yeah, and this, he was sitting there. I guess this is right after his first surgery, right? Because we see the hand reach in and try to grab him, or go to grab him from the cage.
It's just like,
I thought it was cool how he was the only Rocket, as the baby, was the only raccoon that like faced him instead of turning around like the other ones did.
Yeah, I mean, it's like. Poor dude, he's like hurts. And I'm just like, literally my younger brother. I mean, I swear it's like when he was a little kid, he'd get hurt or something, and he'd be like, it hurts. And it's like, oh, poor,
and it was like that makes it like the voice and him trembling. It was just, oh my God, I cried. I counted 5 times, maybe 6, but the 6th one would have been tears of joy at the end of it.
Yeah,
because that was a
poor. Man, I feel so bad, man. He's such.
And I mean, you get the scenes. He meets Lila in that scene, and Teefs and Floor.
Oh my God! I'm like thinking of them all saying their names: Teefs, Lila, Floor.
Yeah.
When I grow up, I want to fly with my friends. My name's Rocket. I'm just like, this is incredible.
Yeah, and then. I mean, that ended sadly too. It was shock. That was insane. I did not expect. Thought Lila was going to turn out to be alive. That's what I thought.
Yeah, because I thought like when you see that scene of them like hugging, I thought they like both escaped.
Yeah,
or something. Thank God. I just realized, is that dang otter head actually on Adam Warlock's?
I don't think so. I don't know. They didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Oh well, actually, spoiler. Lila, Teefs, and Floor die.
Oh my God. She was like, it's so good to have friend, and then he gets shot. I rewatched the scene on YouTube. It's been recorded. And so I watched it, and you got Rocket screaming, and Floor is like, Teefs, Rocket, Floor, go now, or Teefs, Rocket, Floor, go now, or whatever. And like, high evolutionary, like mocking Rocket, like screaming back at Rocket. Oh my God.
He's like, you won the crying contest, XP. I'm just like, oh, I was like, man, what an awful person. He is awful.
Gosh, and then Rocket lashes out, runs up to him, just flashing his face. You hear a few gunshots go off, right? He's trying to shoot at Rocket. But this is when he's like basically ripping his entire face off, which we see at the end of the movie.
Good God.
Yeah, and then Rocket gets off of him and turns, and then you see what happened because of those gunshots. He shot Floor and Teefs, and that was like,
yeah, it's.
That was my one thing going in the movie. I was like, they're not hurt Floor and Teefs, and they did.
Yeah. It's just like, and the one I did not want to die was freaking Teefs, man. And I was just like, it was horrible.
No, and
man.
Then they force. I mean, obviously they force
good God.
Rocket to stay.
It's awful. It's awful.
They force Rocket to stay at the place, and he's growing up. You know, he's being taught by the high evolutionary. I didn't like something that really like bugged me, not in like a negative way in the movie or anything.
It's like emotionally, the way he would like handle Rocket. You notice he would like grab his whole head.
You grab his head, kind of like pull his ear a bit, like, yo, come here.
Yeah, and like
treated him horribly.
Yeah, he's a horrible dude. And I mean, you get Rocket growing up and stuff, and Rocket helps him out. Rocket doesn't really know many words, like how to talk right, it seemed.
Yeah, well,
so they had that scene where he was like, I can't, or something like that. And he was like, pumped. So I thought he was calling him something else, but
yeah, he'll like kind of mispronounce words.
Yeah.
Like he'd say like don't, or I can't remember what examples they give, but I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, you feel bad because like for a raccoon like learning, he's pretty good. You know, first try like learning words, and he's just like.
I mean, all the High Evolutionary was obsessed with was perfection. He just wanted this perfect thing, and that's what he was getting Rocket's help trying to figure out why these animals that he was turning were so rageful. And I mean, and I mean, there's a little turtle, right? And the turtle grows up, and it kind of looked like a little ninja, like a ninja turtle, is what I first thought of. And I was like, huh?
James, what were you hitting at?
And the whole issue was that they were rageful. And Rocket somehow knew the issue for that, so he told him how to fix it. And then later on, Rocket's in a cell, and the High Evolutionary comes out. I guess he's drunk.
I think he's kind of I think he's like
losing his mind. I don't know.
I think he's just like pissed off that he couldn't figure it out himself.
Yeah, he couldn't figure it out, but the creature that he created could. And that's kind of like trippy to think about.
Yeah.
And so he was really mad about that. And then he showed Rocket that it worked, and he created the oh god, what are they called? Not the Animan, because that's a different thing with the comics. What are those animal people called?
It's
like animal. It's like in the movie, all those weird like animal people lived on that planet. They had a name. They're like
Counter Earth. Oh no.
Yeah, well, that was the name of the planet. But like the people, they're like the word animal, but like change.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, created them, and then Rocket's like, "Oh, that means we get to go to the new world now." When this is right before Peace and Floor and Lila died, because he was like, "We get to go to a new world now," and he was like, "No." He says, "Only the perfected ones get to go to the new world." He says, "You are just you're just a little monster," or whatever he called him. He said, "All of Batch 8-9 was just a test. They aren't meant to go to the new world." And he planned on incinerating them. And so that's when he's like, he goes back to the cell. We need to escape. Lila dies, and the other two. So
dude, when they die, I mean,
that's when Rocket escapes. Rocket escapes after that.
Yeah. It is. I mean,
yeah. That's just the backstory. I mean, Rocket has a kill switch on his heart that it put on there, and this was all caused because Adam Warlock, shot him in the chest with his like energy beam or whatever, and it activated the kill switch. And so if they tried to do surgery, he'd die. If they didn't do anything, he'd die. So they had to figure out how to get rid of the kill switch, and that was what the whole movie basically revolved around, was saving Rocket. I like that. Stakes here aren't like, oh my god, we got to save the universe. The stakes are, oh my god, we need to save our best friend. And it's like, it feels like it's like low stakes, but it's also high stakes. Like it's like, I didn't feel like there wasn't anything like that they were fighting for that was pointless. Everything had a point.
Everything in that movie had a point. Yes.
And Rocket, they eventually fix it. There was a really sad scene where they got the code. I can't remember what it was called, but they plug it in and it's not working, and he flatlines. And that's you get the scene with Peter screaming. And
Peter's out. He's all like,
yeah,
they do all that, and it looks like it's just not working.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that happens there is incredible. With Lila's like, oh yeah, the sky is beautiful.
Yeah, and you see Floor and Teefs in the background, and he was like, "Can I come?" She said, "Sure, but not yet." And then she hugs him, and she says the line. She says, "Oh, my beloved raccoon," I think is what she says. She says, "Oh, my beloved raccoon, the story's been yours all along. You just didn't know it yet." And then Rocket says, "I'm not a raccoon," and then he falls back into his.
Yeah.
Which that has payoff. That whole "I'm not a raccoon" thing has great payoff at the end.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and so Rocket comes back. When they tell Nebula that Rocket's back, that almost got me. But she started broke down crying because if you think her and Rocket have the biggest connection because they were alone those 5 years and the rest of the team were snapped away, so it was just them. And so, I mean, that reaction from her when she hears Rocket, and then I mean that's Rocket stuff. Rocket goes and he doesn't kill High Evolutionary at the end of it. Because I'm a freaking guardian of the galaxy.
Yeah. And that was awesome right there.
Yeah. So High Evolutionary's still out there. I mean, he could come back.
Calls himself Rocket Raccoon. I mean,
he was like, name's Rocket Raccoon, because he finds out that he's a raccoon. He also saves all the little raccoons and all the animals and stuff, which I thought was nice.
Oh yeah, that was great. I was just like, and then Peter's like, yeah, cool, yeah, we got everyone, let's go. And he's like, no, we gotta save everyone.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the animals. I'm just like, oh man, it honestly, I saw a tweet and I couldn't say it better myself. I'm gonna quote it here. I wish Black Widow touched on the subject of human trafficking the same way this movie did with animal cruelty.
Yeah.
And
I saw that tweet.
And I could agree. Yeah, Rocket's story throughout this whole series, especially watching because I haven't done it yet.
When you go back now, I've watched some clips. If you go back after watching this movie and watch all the Rocket scenes, they just have so much more weight to them. Because the way you're acting, you can you can tell now, and plus know what happened.
Yeah.
So it just makes it even better. And yeah, I thought Rocket had such a good arc. It's probably one of my favorite arcs in the entirety of the MCU. I don't know if that's a hot take. I don't think it is. I just think I don't know.
The art. I perfectly agree. Every character has a good what's the word I'm looking for?
I think you said every character gets their moment to shine.
Yeah.
In this movie, and I guess that would lead us on to talk about the next character, which we want to talk about Star-Lord.
Yeah.
We don't have to go as in depth with Star-Lord. We went in depth with Rocket because it's his movie, but Star-Lord has. He's still upset about Gamora. We knew that from the holiday special, and obviously Gamora being the 2014 Gamora. Is the Gamora from the past in Endgame?
Yeah.
So there's no connection there. They met.
Well, I only want to say 2014 Gamora because that's when the first Guardians movie came out, right?
Yeah, but that's when she came from, though.
Yeah, but I thought she was on her own a year in that time. So,
well, it showed whenever in Endgame when they were at Morag, War Machine and Nebula were at Morag, and they took out Quill, and that's when Nebula gets taken by Thanos, and Gamora was there.
So it's 24. Oh, so it is 2014.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
And so, you have that whole thing there. Gamora doesn't know him at all, and nobody knows her, and he remembers all that stuff. And so he's this whole thing. He's struggling also with trying to save his best friend, but he's also struggling with this whole issue with love. She doesn't remember me. How do I fix this kind of thing?
Yeah, and the movie does. I mean, here I'll get touching more of this before I say what the movie does, but it's kind of the whole time this was going on, I was kind of thinking like, what would I do in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, Will, all he did was just kept trying to remind her, like, just give it a chance, please, like. She's like, no chance, Quinn. Is what she calls him, Quinn.
Yeah, calls him Quinn. It's just like, it's just like crazy. It's like, man, I mean, I feel bad for Star because it's all like, so all like love of his life is like does not know who doesn't like not only him but like the whole team doesn't have any recollection. Not even memory, but just does not know any of this.
Yeah, that's why she went straight to the Ravagers, because she didn't get to know the Guardians, so she doesn't see them as a family. She's the Ravagers, people that would be more like her family, which they are. I mean, they turn out to be. You get the return of Sylvester Stallone as Tar. I think his name is Takar. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if they said his name in this movie, but they know they said it in the second one. And then Michael Rosenbaum's the ice guy or whatever. And that weird snake creature that opened a Doctor Strange portal to get onto the ship.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah. And there's like a robot head that in the second movie was voiced by Miley Cyrus, but in this is voiced by Tara Strong.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, Miss Minutes.
Miss Minutes. I don't know what that's about, but
yeah, I think that James Gunn said there were some scheduling issues, so they had to get her.
Oh, really?
Because they couldn't get Miley Cyrus because of something. But back to Star-Lord though.
Yeah,
his whole thing in this, he's drunk the rest of the beginning of it. They had to carry him through town, which seems like it was an reoccurring situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he wakes up when Adam Warlock comes in to try to capture Rocket, and he immediately goes into captain mode, blasting, trying to save Rocket. And this whole thing, you could tell he's just like, it's straight to the point, like we need to save Rocket. We got to fix this. He's leading them all, try to go do the thing and take out evolutionary.
Yeah.
And literally that's basically his main goal of the whole movie is I gotta save my friend. My best friend, who Drax disagrees with, is his second best friend.
Second best friend.
I'm trying to before I get to like the part that was big with him. I don't remember if there's anything else that I need to touch on. No. Okay. So he towards the end of the movie, he is stuck on the ship. He's still on high evolutionary ship, and they're Cosmo is using her mind powers to kind of bridge Nowhere, the head, which is now pilotable apparently. And high evolutionary ship to get all the kids off and all the animals and stuff. And Star-Lord is still on the ship. I don't remember exactly why. I think he may have been staying for Rocket, but Rocket went and tried to take on High Evolutionary. And this was after High Evolutionary gets... I don't know. I might be messing it up. It's like I said, I was only seen it once a couple days ago. But next thing you know, everyone's on the ship. Peter's on his way. He's running out. He takes this pressurized quart of air and he uses it to push himself out into space to try to launch himself into the ship. And all this debris is flying everywhere. And while he's going, he gets hit in the stomach with some debris and it stops him. And this is when I broke down in tears because I was expecting it to happen, but didn't want it to happen. And I mean, thankfully it doesn't happen. They just tricked me. Yeah. But he's stuck in space. His face starts to freeze and it starts bloating a little bit. Here, Mantis screams Peter. The Groot part got me. It really started to get me. He runs up screaming, crying, reaches out his branches, and they just freeze.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I thought about that. I'm like, dude, Groot, just stretch out and grab him. And then he does that, and it freezes. I'm like, holy crap, yeah, dude, this is There's no way out of this.
Yeah, and then the camera pans over, shows the Zune in his hand, and then
you can tell he tries to like play like a song, or so, I don't know. I kind of got because you see his like thumb move, and I thought he was gonna kind of like play like one of his like favorite songs or whatever. But then I'll let you do the honors of saying what happens.
Yeah, and then redemption from a character which we can talk about next. Adam Warlock comes in and recreates the what's the painting called? Creation of Adam or something. I don't remember.
The Tenacious D cover.
Yes. Yes. And then so he grabs him and flies him onto the ship, and then Peter says that looked cool, which was like a running thing throughout the movie. Also another running thing with Peter where he keeps saying that it's a face off. And it just like I think he said it about like 4 times. Which I mean that paid off at the end because it really was a face off. As the guy's face came off.
He keeps calling it like a face off. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, oh yeah, and then we can't forget the post-credit scene. I guess we'll touch on that now. The final post-credit scene is because Star-Lord leaves. He's gonna. The seeds are planted earlier, talking about his family left on Earth, his grandpa, and which I didn't know his grandma and grandpa showed up as a cameo in the second movie, in Missouri when it showed like the big blue blob that Ego planted, like traveling or whatever. They were in a car, and you could see.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. But he decides to go back to Earth, and so he leaves the group. And he gets to Earth, back to Missouri, and he finds his grandpa, whose name is Jason Quill, which is Peter's middle name as well. So that's where he got his middle name from.
Yeah.
And they have their whole moment, and then the post-credit scene was them just sitting at a table eating together and talking about. Peter says something like, I don't understand why her own son won't mow the lawn, but expects me to do it. And the grandpa says, don't even get me started. And they're just kind of sitting there. So they're kind of some gossip, I guess. Retired men gossip, I don't know. And then it pops up with the words, the legendary Star-Lord will return. So I'm guessing he'll get his own project, because that's, I don't know, maybe like a show.
Yeah.
The legendary Star-Lord. I'd be down for it.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's all Star-Lord stuff in that. I thought his story was really good. I mean, the most emotional scene, that was the most emotional scene to me, like personally, but it's because it like hit me so quickly. And it was like, I can't even explain. I felt the way I felt when Tony Stark died during that scene, except immediately. Like it was immediate, like, ow.
Oh, yeah.
But then everything was fine. I just like, oh my God. It's messed up.
Yeah, it was great. There's nothing. Everything pays off in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just, it's perfect.
Yeah, Adam Warlock. Let's touch. This was a character that I heard was the most divisive part of the movie.
Yeah, and I was a bit nervous because I was a little unsure with the actor and all that. Not that I think he would do a bad job, I just could not see him as Adam Warlock.
Huh.
And well, you want to explain?
I can't really unsee him as Adam Warlock at the moment, but
now I can't.
Let's see. So this is what's different. Well, not really. He's kind of like this in the comics a little bit, but not as much. Adam Warlock in this was taken out of his pod too early, and so he hasn't fully developed yet. His brain is that of a baby, I guess. Yeah, so he doesn't understand pain. He doesn't understand like basic anything except fight.
Yes.
And I personally, I get it wasn't what diehard comic fans of Adam Warlock were looking for, which I'm not a diehard comic fan of Adam.
Neither am I.
But like from what I got from that, I think there's a lot of potential with the character. I think they can go a lot of places with him. And then they could set up. There's a group in the comics called the Infinity Watch.
Yeah.
And it consists of Drax, Adam Warlock, Hip the Troll that was at the end of Eternals, and Star Fox, or Thanos' brother, who was also at the end of Eternals.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you kind of already have that there. I mean, you could set up Infinity Watch.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I enjoyed for what it was. I mean, I enjoyed Adam Warlock.
I did too.
I get why it was divisive.
I totally get it too. I'm not going to ignore it and go like, oh, they just don't understand. No, it's a very weird decision.
He had that really cool scene where, like, in the trailer, some people said it looked weird, which it did look a little weird in that one shot. But it looked better in the movie when he was flying through the neighborhood. I just sat there and looked at. I think I leaned over to you and I was like, "Now just imagine Superman."
Yeah, he told me that. And I'm just all like, because I had a feeling. I'm like, I always make a bet with myself that somebody's going to say something or something's going to happen during a movie. And I had a feeling. I was like, Darian's going to say something Superman related during this, during a scene in this movie. And I was not wrong. But I totally get it, though. And it is a very weird change.
Which it kind of fixes itself in the post credit scene in a second, a little bit. We don't really hear much of him, but it seems like he's talking about like bands and stuff, or like singers. So he's like obviously gotten a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
So I guess he'll just like kind of get smarter as time goes on.
Yeah, and I don't hate him. Far from it.
I actually wouldn't mind seeing his own, because now he's like, his civilization is gone, right? Or his mother's gone. I mean, he could get his own project, really, if he wanted to.
I like
a special presentation. That's where you introduce Silver Surfer, and you get Silver Surfer versus Adam Warlock, blue versus silver. I mean, gold versus silver.
I like it. It's
lost for words.
It's hard to explain because
I liked it. I
liked it. I had no issue with it.
Yeah. I guarantee if I was a fan of him from the comics, I would have a big issue, but I don't. So
yeah. I really like him, but I could see the complaint, and I don't really blame people for.
Yeah. Trying to think. Let's talk. Talk Mantis. She had a few scenes in this. Mostly it was just her. She stuck up for Drax at one point. She was like, "Don't push him," or whatever she said to Nebula.
Yeah.
Drax does get his redemption a little bit in this. Just a bit. But I mean, Mantis didn't really have much going on. She leaves at the end. She tames the those big squid things, which were also made by the High Evolutionary. I fought that in the second movie.
Yeah.
But she tames those and she leaves with them at the end of the movie because she says, like, all my life I've done whatever Ego told me and then whatever the Guardian said, but now I want to do what I want to do, whatever she said.
Yeah.
And so she leaves. We don't know what happens with her. Drax wants to go with her to protect her, but Nebula says, no, you're not meant to be a destroyer. You're meant to be a dad. It's all the kids love him. That scene, oh my god, with when he did the robot noises or monkey noises, but they weren't robots. Yeah, and all the kids are laughing, and I was like, that was what made me tear up a little bit. I was like, oh.
It's good. Mantis is just good. I say I liked her a bit better in like the second movie than this one. I don't really know what kind of difference it really made, but like she's still great. Nothing. I mean, it's still Mantis, and she has very adorable. I mean, she's funny. No issues there.
Mm-hmm. And Drax, Drax knew the kids' language, and Nebula was like, "Why didn't you tell us you knew their language?" He said, "Why didn't you ask?"
Yes.
And there's that whole thing where like she's like, "Oh, you act as dumb and stupid and all this stuff," and it's like I think that's the whole thing. Like he said, "Why didn't you ask?" It's like I've known all this stuff this whole time. You just didn't bother to ask me.
He's just always stupid. And so Drax gets that, and then he stays on Nowhere with Nebula to take care of all the kids. And his whole thing, first Guardians movie, I think is the first one he's mentioned something like he doesn't dance or something like that, or he doesn't like dancing. Second one, he says it again. How Peter's a dancer and Gamora's not, and he's not. Dancing is for those who are. I don't know. He said that in the holiday special, dancing is for the people who are pathetic.
Yeah, I like when he talks about his wife.
Yeah,
or his. Well, she went. It's hilarious.
These are the most catchiest song could be playing. She wouldn't even move a muscle. You would make my nether region sound. Yeah, that was good. And then this movie, he finally dances. He dances at the end of it with all the kids. And Max he was mainly the comedy of the movie.
Yeah.
And when we talked about the comedy in this isn't the best it is in the movies.
Yeah, I was going to mention probably a little flaw I have with it is I don't think it's not at least for me, not really many jokes made me laugh. Like the whole second best friend joke, it got me the first time, and they kept hearing it. I was like, okay, I get it, but
they only said it 2 times.
No, he said it. I swear he said it 3 times.
He said it twice. He said it once the first time, and then later on, when it gets brought up, he says it.
I swear he says it a 3rd time though. I swear he does. Does he not?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, another one. I'll tell you what. A joke I did really.
The metaphor one I thought was funny.
The metaphor, yeah. The metaphor is hilarious.
Mora's head is like a lily pad because it was green. Metaphor.
Metaphor.
Oh my god.
It's great. And it's so crazy because you keep hearing actors like, yeah, I'm kind of done with the role, but then they're still they're alive, and so now it's like, oh, you still doing this? Okay. I can hear Drax, the guy Dave Bautista's kind of.
Yeah, Dave Bautista says he's done with Drax, but Drax is still around, so I guess they're gonna have to recast it.
Yeah,
and that's a big feat.
I don't think. No, I think I think they're going to do one more thing with him, and then he's going to die.
I don't think so. I mean, this was kind of the big final into the finale.
Yeah, but they can't recast them. You know what I'm saying?
He already said that they'd have to recast him. I know the girl who plays Gamora also said that too. She's done.
It's so weird because I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm seriously just trying to think.
I don't know. Groot. I guess we can touch on Groot next. Groot has his whole thing. He's kind of just their side character a little bit. Not like side character. I mean, he has his moments. I want to touch on in a second that the 2 minute long hallway fight scene. That was it was all one take.
Yes.
And it was the coolest fight scene I've seen in recent.
Well, playing the song,
Brooklyn. It was Brooklyn, or what was it? What's that song? No Sleep Till Brooklyn by the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, and that song is my dad. He's in the theater with us. Everyone has a song. If they hear it, they lose their mind with it. They're all like, "Oh, hell yeah!" That's my dad's song. He hears it and he loses his mind, and it's great. It was
so good, and that fight scene was so cool too. Everyone had their moment in there.
Cool stuff. I mean,
rocket on Groot's shoulder.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's good. The team up stuff is the best part about these movies, where they're both doing combos together, and I hope Marvel movies do that more often because every time they do it, it looks cool.
I think this movie can help be a sort of another kind of thing for Marvel to be like, oh, this is what they like. They like this kind of stuff. We need more emotion in these movies. We need that stuff.
But especially especially the third one, it's a big
Yeah, like this was what everything from this third movie was missing in the third Ant-Man.
Yes. I mean, heart, passion, competency.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Kaiju Groot shows up for one scene.
Yes.
So Groot's getting a little stronger, which I guess that might, but he's still growing. So I guess he's. But he grows in this giant monster and scares all these people away. And
I mean, he's like, I mean, dude, he gets.
And what was it? I think it was Star-Lord says, no, Kaiju Groot, no.
Oh yeah, I was all like, oh my god. It's
yeah. And then the post-credit scene, or the mid-credit scene, you get Alpha Groot, which is what he's in the comics, or King Groot. So big, giant. He's bigger than the Hulk, I think, a little bit bigger than the Hulk.
Yeah.
And he's got the kind of crown on his head and stuff. I thought that was a rock in the scene. And then they were like, Groot, wake up, and it moved, and I was like, oh my god.
I thought, it looks like a rock they're sitting on it, but it's like from the sand and all that. It looks.
Yeah, it's just Groot. So Groot didn't have much to do. I mean, he had that scene where he cried, and he hugs Rocket and Peter in that one scene when Rocket wakes up. He didn't have as much to do, but he was still there.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I'm missing the biggest part.
Yeah, I
love you guys. The biggest thing with Groot was the scene where they're all getting ready to go their separate ways, and they've said Rocket can be the leader of the New Guardians. They're doing the salute, and Groot looks around and goes, "I love you guys," and none of the team batted an eye at it. It was just like that and done. James Gunn did come out and say that he said, "I am Groot," but now the audience can understand him like the rest of the team can.
And I'm just like, that's genius. You know, it's great. It's so good. It's so good. But
I love it. And I mean, it's good to know that we're not. I wonder if that means that, then I mean, Groot's still around. He's in the New Guardians team. Does that mean that when they show up next, we're gonna be able to underhear him, like what he says?
Oh, I fully understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know.
I think that's what that would mean, unless they just don't just forget what the Groot language said.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. I don't know, man. I mean, if James Gunn was, I don't know. I do not know.
Future is uncertain.
Very, very uncertain.
Yeah, that was Groot. High Evolutionary, we touched on just a douchebag. That's what I say.
Oh god, yeah, that's an understatement too. Good god.
That's a jerk. But that being said, I mean, I think in my top 5 villains, maybe top 3, I haven't gave it any thought.
Yeah. Who is your top 3? I mean, or 2?
Namor is one of them. I think Namor's probably 2.
Namor is pretty good, man. I love him.
I'm gonna put Thanos at 1, just because that's like it's
Thanos. Yeah.
Yeah, and then probably High Evolutionary 3. High Evolutionary was just a villain that had most villains have sympathetic things. Thanos was sort of sympathetic. Kang a little bit, like trying to get what Kang's trying to do.
I'll tell you what, man.
This guy had no sympathy towards him at all. He was just evil to be evil.
He'd mock your sympathy. You know, I mean, he's all like, you're having feelings for it. You're pathetic. You know.
Yeah.
Something I thought was great. I mean, I'll tell you what, man. I don't think people have touched this a lot, but MCU has been doing great with their villains so far.
I mean, I was thinking that actually recently. I mean, the movie specifically, but like Multiverse of Madness or No Way Home. Obviously, you had all of them, and then and then Multiverse of Madness, Scarlet Witch, and then Thor gore, which is arguably the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi. Eternals is the only one that didn't really have a good villain. I mean, I just want to count Icarus, which I don't really.
Black Widow as well.
Yeah, I'm talking about like everything. Like with the movie I started with, everything past that have had good villains.
Yeah.
So like Scarlet Witch, Gore,
and even
Namor
villains.
Yeah, some of them like they've been doing pretty well.
Like Ethan Hawke's pretty good.
Yeah. There's a few bad ones, but actually only a couple. Really. I mean, well, no, there's a few. One Miss Marvel, and then the one in Eternals, that weird deviant thing, and the one in Falcon Winter Soldier.
It's Falcon Winter Soldier had a pretty decent one as well.
If you want to count John Walker as the villain, then yes.
John Walker and
Charlie Morgenthau.
Yeah, forgot about
her. Yeah, I mean the villain. He was such a good villain. Another really good one. I'm excited. I'm interested to see what they do with the villain for the Marvels, which is the next movie. I don't know much about her. I think that's the villain. I don't remember. But I guess we'll see. The next thing I guess we can talk about is I guess we can talk about the post-credit scenes. I don't think there's anything else I've missed story-wise. Besides the enemy, Cosmo and Kraglin, they have their moments. Kraglin learns to master the arrow, and he sees Yondu. Yondu shows up for a scene.
Yeah. So is that reused like old footage, or is that? I'd want
to say it is. It's just him smiling.
They brought Michael Rooker in there just to put that makeup and everything, just to be there for like a minute.
Yeah, Kraglin does this thing, calls Cosmo a bad dog. Cosmo, the whole movie, wants him to take it back.
Yeah, he does.
I love Cosmo.
Dude, Cosmo was killing it in this movie, especially
the actress that voices Cosmo will be voicing one of the creature commandos, the blue fish lady.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm excited to see that. I'd love to see some more Cosmo though. She's on the Guardians team now.
Oh yeah, she's on the Guardians team.
She's got her own blue and red outfit.
The outfits they have in this movie as well are incredible.
Very good. Yeah. Well, actually, we can talk about before we hit in the post-credit scenes. Talk about cameos and stuff, but we have 1 minute left in this meeting, so we'll do that in just a second.
Fair change.
All right. Let's talk about cameos in the film. Biggest cameo was I think Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. He has like a whole role in it, and what he does,
and he's got the funny jokes. That was another joke that was funny with the how they called Drax. They're trying to call him retarded, and he was like, "Oh, yeah. I've got one of those too."
Oh, dude, don't worry, I got one of those too. I was like, "Oh my god!" And the
guy was just like looking.
That poor guy, yeah, because it's so funny.
Do you remember the carrot head guy too?
Yeah, I remember him.
It was just like that was random. That guy looks like a carrot.
Dude, I felt it's so funny because that has happened to me before, where I've said something. He's like, yeah, I got one of those new, for my car, and I'm like, oh yeah, nice. He's like, really? Yeah, because I just made it up, and I'm all like, oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Something else.
I think that's happened on the podcast at one point.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard one.
No, but your response is just yeah.
And
then you're like, wait, what'd you say?
Wait, what did you say? Hey, I gotta make sure I hear you correctly. I'm like, hold up. Before I say they or agree, I gotta make sure I rehear you. Am I one of your guys? Is that what it is?
I guess.
Oh, man.
Okay, let's talk about. So Nathan Fillion, he plays one of the guards at Orgo Corp. The big, weird, fleshy suit apparently weighed over 100 pounds.
Is that really how much? I see. That was the most uncomfortable thing on the planet.
Yeah, and he was there. He had a big role, not a big role, minor role, but big for the scene for the whole section. Benjamin Ben Dave, what's his name? Oh gosh, it's Benjamin Davis. Let me see. Remember this guy's name? Benjamin Byron Davis. He played one of the FBI agents who worked with Jimmy Woo in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but he also voiced Dutch Vanderlyn in Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. Very distinctive. His voice for the character is his real voice. And so I immediately recognized his voice in the movie. He played the security guard that Mantis tricked to fall in love with Drax. He was like, hey. And Drax is like, hey.
it's hey. I was like, what's your name?
How's it going? What's your name? Drax. What did he say? Drax the Destroyer, I think is what he said. And he was like, oh, that's such a nice name. So strong name. And then he was like, then he told him his name while Drax was walking away. He told him his name. Yeah, that's funny. There was a little cameo by him there. Pete Davidson plays one of the Evolutionaries guards or whatever.
Does he? I thought he the people on Nowhere.
No.
Okay.
He played. Well, from what I saw in the image that was posted, he's in like this alien makeup thing and or aesthetics, and he's got a gun. And I think he's one of the soldiers that worked for Evolutionary on his ship.
Okay.
That's who he played. Linda Cardellini voices Lila. Linda Cardellini being Velma from Scooby-Doo and also Clint Barton's wife. She voices Lila. Let's see here. Jennifer Holland shows up, James Gunn's wife, Melissa Harcourt from Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, as Qual, Administrator Qual, the person the Guardians take a hostage to, and they shoot her in the leg. Or Gamora does.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Oh yeah, she's like, here, hold on, let's speak here. Here, let's try to work this out. It's just boom.
She's screaming on the ground.
I was like, oh my god.
And the hostage that they take to her is a character named Aura. I don't remember. Chris Pratt says her name a bunch of times. I can't remember how exactly it's said, but she's played by Daniela Melchior, who you would know plays Ratcatcher 2 in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So she showed up there.
I like he tries to get her with his charm.
Yeah.
And he's like, was it working? She's like, no, I thought you're kind of a dude.
Yeah. Michael Rosenbaum returns as Martin X, an ice guy, crystal guy, whatever, on the Ravagers. Michael Rosenbaum being the guy who plays Lex Luthor in Smallville, played Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Yeah.
I guess currently still going to be playing Lex Luthor in the animated Smallville season 11 show. I think he does Flash too. He voiced Flash in the Justice League cartoon.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
I know that.
Mm-hmm. He shows up. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 adds an Ant-Man actress. Judy Greer plays Cassie's mom in the first two Ant-Man movies. She voices War Pig, which is that weird pig lady.
Oh, really?
Creature. Yeah.
Bebop. That's what I'm calling.
Yeah, essentially. And then you have your Nowhere cameos. So, Howard the Duck, I know you were happy about that.
Oh, of course I'm happy to see Howard the Duck. And the fact he has not gotten a movie or a Disney Plus show yet just drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that he's just like a cameo.
Ooh.
Yeah,
but how cool would it
it's fun to show up.
Yeah, obviously it's more fun to show up, but how cool would it have been if he's he shows he has his own Disney Plus show, and he just I don't know. I think it'd be fun if he just did commentary on everything that's just happening in the MCU. I just I don't know.
Funny.
Yes.
It'll be funny. Let's see here. Trying to see Seth Green voices him. Looks like he did in the other ones.
Yeah. I believe he did.
Yeah. It's another blink and you'll miss it cameo at the table, according to CBR.com. Christopher Fairbanks' broker. Yeah, that's right. The guy who tried to buy the orb with the Power Stone in it from Peter in the first movie. Got the weird eyebrows.
Yeah, I saw him. I remember seeing him.
He was on there. He didn't want to sell it. And also, Rhett Miller was at the table, who is the lead singer of the country rock band Old 97s, who reprised his role as Beezer McTalkalak, the musician from Holiday Special, who sang the I don't know what Christmas is, but Christmas time is here.
Yeah.
And he showed up at the table.
Okay.
And yeah, sorry, my dog is over here trying to go in and out of under the couch, and I don't. Yeah, okay. Trying to pay attention to him. Anyway, where Enya the Yondu obviously is the cameo. We talked about that, and yeah, I think that's most of the cameos.
That's pretty much all of them from Iron. I don't remember seeing Pete Davidson, but he is there. I don't remember seeing him at all.
Obviously, you have your James Gunn, his friends or whatever that always show up.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people hate on that. I'll be honest.
Every director does it. I mean, Martin Scorsese does it.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi.
Yes, Sam Raimi. Oh yeah, Bruce Campbell's in everything that Sam Raimi does.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a project he won.
They just want to hate on James Gunn because they're mad about Henry Cavill still.
Yeah.
And get over it.
Which I'm just like, yeah, get over it.
Yeah. But those are the cameos. I guess we can touch on the post-credit scenes just for a minute, and we already talked about one of them, so we'll touch on that first one, the mid-credit scene, and then we'll go ahead and get ready to end this off.
Yep.
All right. So the mid-credit scene shows our new Guardians. The new team consists of Rocket, Alpha Groot now, Giant Groot.
Yep.
Cosmo, Kraglin, Adam Warlock, and there's a little girl, and her name is Phyla Vell. I learned this. I did some research. Her name is Phyla Vell. She is in the comics the daughter of Mar-Vell.
Really?
Yeah, and so she has some kind of. It seemed like her eye was going purple at one point. It seems like she might have some kind of connection to the Kree a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe she'll show up at some point in something. I don't know. Maybe she might be in the Marvels. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
But she's part of the team now. They're listening to music. They're all saying their favorite songs and all this stuff. And then Rocket says, "I'm kind of partial to this one." And he puts it on. And it's "I'm Gonna Get Your Love" by Redbone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so they're playing that, and the team's kind of dancing to it. And then you see these people are like screaming because whatever they're getting ready to fight is coming towards them. And Kraglin stands up and he's like, "I can handle this if y'all on my own. So if y'all just want to stay here." And Rocket was like, "No, we'll do this together. It'd be quicker that way." And they stand up, and then I think it was Cosmo says, "On your word, Captain." And then it zooms in on Rocket, and he says, "Word." And they just all fly towards the screen, and that was the end of the scene. The new Guardians.
So, I'm interested, man, to see where they're going to go from there.
Yeah, they had to get a new director or a new person to oversee it.
Yeah. I mean,
I assume James Gunn will be a consult at least.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, surely if they're doing a Guardians movie, I'm sure James Gunn has someone like, especially I feel like Peter Safran could take over for a bit while James went to go produce or something real quick, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, because how long does it take to like film a movie? Like 3 months, 32 months?
It depends on how big the movie is.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Guardians movie wouldn't take that long.
I mean, if you're saying this Guardians movie was 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah. Which I mean, it didn't feel like that.
No, yeah, far from it. Yeah.
Felt like it went by in like an hour and a half.
I can try to tell that I'm like, yeah, this one feels longer than the rest.
It didn't drag at any point to me.
Oh, no, yeah. Never. I'd say, try to think if there was a moment that really dragged.
The only part I can maybe think about was the whole like hostage scene.
Yeah,
but like I don't know.
it was weird because I think I got aggravated at some moments because like the Rocket backstory stuff is just so good.
Yeah.
I was just like wanting to see the next one, but yeah, hesitant.
Yeah. And that was nicely paced throughout it, though. I mean, it didn't all just show it at once; it spread it, and it felt smooth in the way they transitioned into it. It felt natural.
Yeah, and every time they did it, it felt like okay, yeah, now is the perfect time to do it, and bam, it was there. You know.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, I loved this movie. It was what I wanted it to be. It was literally everything I wanted it to be. I mean, did it have its simple flaws? Yeah, I mean the comedy, and then, well, mainly the comedy. It was the only thing, personally, that I could think of. If I sat down and really thought about it, maybe I could pick apart a couple things. Like maybe Mantis didn't have enough to do. I don't know. That's not really like a point. I don't know. I love this movie, man. I've just been thinking about it these last couple of days. I'm like, man, I'm just so happy about the way it ended. I feel content. I feel like, okay, that was a good ending.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything I wanted to happen happened. So, I can't really, I can't complain about that. I mean, it was great. It was everything I wanted in a finale of a Guardians movie to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I guess with that being said, I will say now though, I don't know yet if I'm going to do it or not, but this Wednesday or Thursday, I might go rewatch it.
Oh.
With some people that haven't seen it yet, so I could see it for a second time, which I really do want to rewatch it.
Yeah. I like to do a rewatch. I don't know when.
I kind of want to see it in IMAX. There was one scene, I think it was our theater's fault. Did you notice this? It was towards the beginning. It was when Nebula flies up, like with her little wings or whatever, and confronts Adam Warlock. It cuts off half of her head on our theater screen.
Did it? I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I think it was that shot was made for IMAX, I think. And our theater didn't compensate for that. I think personally, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, especially June, man. I'll tell you what, you guys better.
I got tickets to buy in like tomorrow.
I need to look up of how that whole thing works because
all the tickets for the movies that we want to see are going to go on sale this month.
Yeah.
So buy the $20 for this month and then cancel it after you get all your tickets. But it only works for one person, so you can't buy.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I get that.
It'll be cheaper still. I mean, you get one free ticket at least. You have the other person will still have to pay.
Yeah, and I'm okay spending $15 for two people as it should be, probably. Yeah. But I've never really complained. We're going to a whole other tangent here, but I've never complained about price of theater because I always have a good experience. Very rarely it's terrible. I think probably the worst one I've had recently was when we went to go see Batman and the speakers were messed up.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
I wasn't aggravated. I was just like, that's annoying. But
I thought it was on purpose when they were in the nightclub.
Yeah,
because the chase scene, I was like, okay.
Well, I didn't notice until the Batmobile part.
Yeah.
Then I started hearing it was like really like loud scenes. That's when it was doing it. But I think they fixed it because I think the theater we were in. That was the theater where it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought we saw the Batman on the left.
No. We saw on the right.
Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. Like I said, this movie was just everything I wanted it to be. I was so happy going out. I haven't felt that way going out of a Marvel movie since Avengers Endgame. And I cried more than I did in Avengers Endgame with this movie.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
Just like the experience of this. Like, I mean, Avengers Endgame was an experience in itself, but like, well,
there's only like really like what, like three moments in Endgame where you would cry.
Yeah.
And two of them would be like, really four. Black Widow's death, Iron Man's death, and seeing Cap. And the fourth one would be like a tears of joy of like the Avengers kind of coming together. Like, oh, this is cool.
I did cry all 4 times, but I cried 5 times in this one. So
yeah, every rocket scene I cried.
Star-Lord thing is, like I said, what got me the most.
Peter freaking out. The endings made me tear. I mean, this made me cry a lot. And every time I turned my head, I saw my girlfriend. Man, she is bawling her eyes out. My friend, he took his girlfriend for their anniversary. They were together for like 3 to 4 years, and dude, he said like his girlfriend was so like pissed off at him that because she's like, I love the movie, but it just made me cry. She said he just cried the whole way through. It's emotional.
It is. It was a really sad movie. I did not bring any tissues either.
Yeah, I know. We kept talking about
I grabbed a stack, and then Landon drops them all over the floor.
Yeah. I was all like, we don't need that.
And I'm just like,
I was worried with this movie. I was like, I ain't gonna cry. This movie's gonna want me to, but I'm just.
My dad didn't cry at anything.
Well, I don't think your dad's really alive.
But he cried when Aunt May died.
Oh yeah, well that's.
Well, yeah, but but this is way more emotional than that.
Oh yeah, way more, dude. Really, Rocket saying hurt is like
his first word broke me.
It hurts, and you see his like
and
head.
It did hurt.
I mean, you see what hurts too. He points at his head. And you see like the whole like cut around his
where
head.
He took his brain out.
Where he took his brain out, like replaced it and all that. It's it's awful, man.
Sad. It's really sad. Man, I guess we go ahead and get ready to rate the movie out of 10. I got what I want. I already knew what I was gonna.
Yeah, I got
rate this by the time I started, and this kind of just reinforced it.
Yeah, I got mine too.
All right. I'm gonna give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, same here. 9.5.
So refreshing to have a movie that's actually like this is like pre-Endgame good.
I think every Marvel movie should build off this.
Please,
story wise, build off it. But if you're doing like a big conclusion legacy, I don't know why I keep saying legacy, but like a big like conclusion movie of like a series, build off this.
Yeah, every character got their moment to shine. Every character got their send off. And some characters didn't get send offs. Some are still gonna be going around. Our new Guardians. Yeah. And then maybe one day we'll get a reunion with Star-Lord and Rocket. Have a little emotional thing where they get to see each other again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess with that, 9.5s all around for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Way to go, James Gunn. You're 6 out. You got 6 out of 6 with good superhero projects. Now, Superman Legacy 2025.
That'll be will that be his 10th thing?
That'll be his 7th.
No, because Guardians is 6. And superhero is Creature Commando 7.
Oh, you're right. I wasn't thinking of Creature Commando. He wrote all of that. I don't think you direct. Yeah. You don't direct animated stuff, do you?
Well, I'm saying he's a big part of it, though.
Well, yeah, true. I'm thinking like creating. Okay, so let's see. Guardians 1, 2, 3. The holiday special, the Suicide Squad Peacemaker. So that's 7 right there. Right?
Yeah.
That was count.
Yeah.
3. Wait, hold on. Oh gosh. Okay, hang on. Guardians 1, Guardians 2, Guardians 3, the holiday special.
Yeah.
The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, that's 6.
Yeah.
So I did miscount. Okay, so then Creature Commandos has 7. Waller? No, he's not writing Waller.
You sure he did? I thought he made that post with Waller.
Crystal Henry and I forgot the other guy's name. The lady did Watchmen, and then guy who created the Doom Patrol show.
Oh, okay.
They're doing it. So he's not attached to that. He's overseeing it, but he's not like.
I gotcha.
And then Superman after that. So that'll be his 8th.
His 8th. Okay.
So actually, Creature Commandos. So we'll see. But next movie, Superman. Which I mean, this should solidify that Superman is in the best hands possible right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and did you see? There's a Snyder fan who a lot of people know, Mercury.
Oh god.
He put out a thing. Let's look at that. He says my friends are currently dragging me to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with like a crying thing.
Don't even act. Don't you dare act like how dare you act like you want? I don't want to bet they even drag him. He want to go see it himself because he knows it's good.
Probably. I'm trying to find the tweet. I don't remember his name. There's
I'm trying to remember all the Snyder fans I know. There's Geralt of the Snyderverse, Mercury.
I found him.
Okay.
All right. He says, there it is. All right. So he also made a tweet on February 13th at the new look at Baby Rocket when he's like strapped onto the like chair.
Yeah.
Whatever. He says it really shows a lack of confidence in his own abilities that most James Gunn scripts and movies rely on the audience saying, "Oh, a humanoid / talking plant or animal to win them over."
Oh, dude, piss off.
That was the first thing he said. And then, and he also made a thing that he said Scooby, Rocket, and Baby Rocket, Groot and Baby Groot, Howard the Duck, Cosmo, King Shark, Weasel, and wasn't there an Eagle and Peacemaker? Anyways, Creature Commandos will be full of them. Swamp Thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if Crypto is currently in a Superman script. She's right.
Well.
And he called James Gunn a one-trick talking pony. One-trick humanoid talking pony is what he called it.
Wow.
And then he came out and said this about Guardians 3. He said, y'all gassed it like crazy, though. Just because the MCU has been spewing crap recently, you're doing backflips and calling it, quote, the best, this and that, because you got one that was just good. Also, he's not beating these allegations, especially with this movie. That's what he said. He even admitted that it was good.
Oh, so he said he was good.
He said even though he said it was just good, is what he said. But still, he said he liked it. But I'm so excited for what he is with Superman. So excited. Crypto's going to be in it. You already know there's going to be some sad stuff with his dad. Oh, man. Lex Luthor showing up. Apparently, some members of the Guardians are going to be in the movie. Not like the characters, but like the actors. Because Star-Lord shows up in Superman Legacy. But yeah. I guess with that, we can go ahead and get ready to get out of here.
Yep.
Well, with that being said, we are going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us this week. It's going to be the episode of the Galactic Burrito out probably tomorrow when we're recording this, which is Sunday. You'll see this Wednesday. So check out the Galactic Burrito episode review, all of Mandalorian Season 3. And then we have a normal episode also releasing tomorrow or Tuesday. So yeah, like I said, are you doing any streams this week that you need to let people know about?
Okay, yes. Sorry, just I was thinking about the whole metaphor joke. But yes, I am going to be doing a stream Monday. So time you're hearing,
by the time they're seeing this, I'm
doing one. Because since you're off from school, you got to figure out a new schedule. I'm gonna be doing a stream Monday and Wednesday. Right. So by the time you're hearing this, I'll be doing my other stream of Dead Space, and I am going to try to beat that this week because I need to beat it before Street Fighter 6 comes out. And
I need to be Corey, so I can start a new game.
Be Corey, because I want to do my replays of Spider-Man and Miles Morales before the 6 comes out.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of stuff coming up, definitely.
Yeah. And, so that being said, we're going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
See ya.
I love you guys.